As said, that result from 2 nights ago is the one that really threw things wide open here. Was it something that we saw coming, guys?
Well, you can never underestimate the UAE. The Japanese will remember that in the opening game. They lost at home to the UAE. We know what they're capable. So the result does not come as a surprise, I think, to us. But for the Saudis, it certainly was a very, very big blow, John.
Let's look back at how this one happened, because, of course, the UAE had to come from behind in this one. We'll get straight into the action. And it was a night really of drama here. And it was a night that began with this decision, and it was Mohamed Fawzi, judged to have committed the offence.
You're looking at Nawaf in those situations, and he's superb. I think it's a penalty. He gets his supporting leg taken away out from underneath there, steps up and puts away the penalty. Really good player, this one, Nawaf for Saudi Arabia. And you thought from this point Saudi Arabia were going to be in complete control of this. Defensively though, this is absolutely shocking. You talk about a line in defence. It wasn't set up really well. The covering defenders weren't there in those situations. But what about that touch?
How about the take and the touch and the goal? But this is the one. Chevy, talk us through this one. I know you say he doesn't do it often enough, but boy, oh boy, Khalil with a blast.
Yes, Ahmed Khalil has that with him. I mean, you just look at his build, and yes, at times he can be accused of being overly selfish, but you cannot take away the fact that when it matters, he can score them from outside the box.
This was silly, wasn't it? 90 plus minutes, and Mahmoud Khamis there seeing red for the second of his yellows there. But yeah, okay, beaten by a blast, but beaten all the same, and that completely changes the complexion in this group, doesn't it?
It does, and I think now the Saudis are the team under pressure. Yes, Japan can win tonight, and I expect them to win, and then Australia host Thailand in the last game, and Saudi at home have to get a result against Japan. John, I would not like to be in the Saudi Arabian shoes right now.
I'm going to stay with you, Chevy, because we need to talk about the Japanese here. Before we look at the team lineup here, let's remind ourselves that Vahid Halilhodzic gave a very interesting press conference in which he ducked back into the press conference room, having given a very brief one, and then told the Japanese media and public that they had to get behind the side. There's a sense there's pressure on this team. There's also a sense in your mind that this team needs freshening up.
It does. I think they should have started rebuilding after the World Cup, which they did not. And Halilhodzic, he's in my opinion, John, he's afraid to make the big decisions. Leaving Hasebe out or Honda out and Kagawa. When I say out, not only out of the starting 11, but perhaps out of the squad, because you need to build new leaders. And the Japanese have got a talented bunch of younger players, just training at the league.
Well, yeah, we've seen that in club competition. What's he gone for tonight then? Who's in, who's out?
Well, it's very interesting because I quite like the players out on the pitch, John, but it will be interesting to see in what formation that they play. But looking at that, I mean, I like Ideguchi because I think, he is right now the best playmaker that they have that should be allowed to run the game. Of course, Inui, Osako, Asano, the three up front, they bring pace, they bring trickery, they bring mobility. And once again, Maya Yoshida, I mean, brings leadership qualities at the back. Nagatomo, Sakai, they can play as fullbacks, they can play as
Interesting
wingbacks.
to see Sakai there, Shebby. I mean, he was involved in that 6-1 thumping for his Marseille team at the hands of Monaco just on Monday night. So again, we always remind ourselves, don't we, that the travel is a factor in Asian World Cup qualifying.
Certainly, and there's a few boys in the Japanese team who've had to travel, certainly, John. But I mean, you cannot deny the fact that they bring with them extra quality, that they have honed playing in the competitive leagues in Europe, and that is something I think today will count for them.
Roshan, talking about travel, there's a massive blow for fans of Australia, and also those who've been watching Premier League football this season have seen an amazing start by Huddersfield Town, the Terriers, in large part down to Aaron Moy. But Aaron Moy's gone down with some kind of an illness. Something's happened between last weekend when he was outstanding and now, so he's a miss for them tonight.
Huge miss for them. You're looking at this Australian lineup and looking at Aaron Moy being out of the side, and I think Tommy Juric for them as well being out of this starting lineup is a big blow for them, because that means they don't have a natural number 9, they don't have a focal point up front that they can quite go out and hit if they need to. Instead, they've got Robbie Cruz coming up, and he'll be on his own in that central striking position, but he's more of a secondary sort of striker, so expect to perhaps see him dropping in off those central defenders, looking to try and create space for the likes of Rogic and Troisi to then go forward and exploit.
You'll have plenty of time in a short while, Roshan, to talk about tactics here, but very quickly, so it looked to all eyes who watched training as if Postecoglou was looking at dropping a man back in Milligan, back into a 3, looking to play what looks like a fairly defensive lineup here, looking, one would say, for the draw that Australia need in this game.
Well, you look at the first game between these two sides, and it was a 4 at the back for Australia, and perhaps he's learned something from that. He went to the Confederations Cup with 3 at the back, and they performed really well in that competition. You talk about that result that they got against Chile as well. I was impressed with the way that they played in the Confederations Cup. So 3 at the back sort of gives them a little bit more control going forward when they sort of want to build possession out from the back. There's a nice stable base there. Matt Ryan as well in goal is very comfortable on the ball. You can give it to him. He can distribute out to those wingers. And he's got really good wing backs in Matthew Leckie and Brad Smith in terms of that energy. So 2 players that have the profile to play in those sort of positions, can get up and down, and it helps that Matthew Leckie has been in good form for Hertha Berlin in the Bundesliga so far.
Shebi, I'm going to take you now back to Japan and back to Vahid Halilhodžić, because it's a strange situation, this one. You've got a Japan side that actually, since that UAE loss in Saitama, has put together a decent enough run. They're unbeaten in the best part of a year, yet there are rumblings, and okay, in a Japan context, very genteel, polite rumblings, but the 65-year-old feels like he's under threat.
Certainly, John. You know, with the Japanese, it's not about winning matches anymore. It's about winning in style. It's about dominating the opponents. It's always setting a certain standard. And yes, while the results have been coming, I don't think the Japanese are very happy with Halilhodžić's style of play. You know, his team selections are rather overly cautious. So yes, you go out there, you look for results, but if you Japan, you've got to get to a certain level of play first, and then the results mean more.
There are also some doubts about whether the Japanese players, there's some infighting in the camp there, and whether they're happy with Halilhodžić, what he's doing. Degenek, who's on the bench for Australia today, was being a little bit cheeky, a little bit naughty perhaps, in trying to suggest that some of these Japanese players actually don't mind losing this game because they want to sort of get rid of Halilhodžić. I find it strange to believe. So just a bit of mind games from the Australian camp coming into this one.
Yeah, well, those faces we saw getting off the coach there, particularly for the Japanese team, they know the amount of pressure. They also know what's at stake tonight, and we'll continue to build this story as we come back very shortly. A quick glance inside the dressing room here. This is, of course, the Saitama World Cup Stadium, and they've only ever lost 1 game here, Japan, in terms of qualifying. More on our build-up to their encounter with Australia next.
Rocky Marciano is the only world heavyweight champion who never let anyone down. Winner of 49 out of 49 fights, 43 by knockout, Marciano quit on top, the only heavyweight champ to retire undefeated. But on August 31, 1969, Marciano died in a light plane crash. He was flying to Iowa, where friends had organized a surprise party for his 46th birthday. And today marks the first appearance in Major League Baseball by a father and son. Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. both hit singles and scored for the Seattle Mariners against Kansas City, August 31, 1990.
You're with us tonight for Fox Sports Live, and we've got a massive night of World Cup qualifying in this Asian zone, as well as a very close side that we'll be keeping on transfer deadline day elsewhere in the world. Before anything else, though, let's get a Fox Sports News update with Yvette King.
Following the shock exit of Angelique Kerber on Day 2 of the US Open, Day 3 saw plenty of upsets, with the likes of Alexander Zverev and Caroline Wozniacki all crashing out of the last Grand Slam of the year.
Makarova put an end to two-time finalist Wozniacki's run, winning a 3-set thriller to move into the 3rd round. World number 5 Wozniacki levelled things up after winning the 2nd set tiebreak, but she couldn't find an answer to Makarova's tricky left hand in the deciding set. 4th seed Zverev suffered a similar fate at the hands of Borna Coric, falling to the Croatian in 4 sets. The 20-year-old had 3 set points in the 4th set, but Coric managed to save them all before sealing the win in the tiebreak. Zverev, who was one of the favourites to win the tournament, was clearly disappointed.
No, I mean, I took time off after Cincinnati, so physically I'm fine. I've just played very, very bad in the second and third set. I should have won the third. I definitely should have won the fourth. But it's upsetting because the draw is pretty open in the bottom part. I felt like I should have been the favorite there.
Canadian teenager Denis Shapovalov announced himself on tennis's biggest stage by ousting number 8 seed Jo-Wilfried Tsonga in straight sets. Shapovalov managed to break Tsonga's serve twice in the first 2 sets to put himself up 6-4, 6-4. The 18-year-old qualifier then held his nerve to cruise through the third set tie-break as he became the youngest man to reach the third round of a Grand Slam since Bernard Tomic at the 2011 Australian Open. He will face Britain's Kyle Edmund next.
That was Yvette King. More from her a little bit later on. Now, I'm just hearing in terms of deadline day that Arsenal have rejected a £20 million bid by Leicester City for Callum Chambers, their defender. So just wonder, Roshan, if we're going to be seeing anything in terms of the other way, Leicester to Arsenal, because, of course, Riyad Mahrez is a player who's been making headlines, and Arsenal have for a long, long time been known to be admirers of him.
Yeah. It's a move that makes sense to me. Riyad Mahrez coming into this Arsenal side, will add a lot of flair, ability in those one-on-one situations. But again, question marks about whether Arsenal are that big club anymore in terms of how they've fallen over the last couple of seasons. Last season not qualifying for the Champions League, of course, and getting hammered, absolutely trashed by Liverpool 4-0. It's not looking very good at the club in terms of team spirit there. It's looking very poor. They've lost Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. They're looking to spend some of that money on Riyad Mahrez, perhaps, as we talked about, losing Alexis Sanchez. So, interesting move if it comes about. One to keep an eye on. Again,
We'll be keeping an eye on anything and everything as and when it happens in terms of deadline day. But let's turn our attention back to Saitama and this mouth-watering prospect of Japan against Australia. Two great rivals. We'll go into that rivalry a little bit later on. But let's focus on the Samurai Blue right now, because they are, as you rightly said, a team that looks to play a certain way, the Brazilian way, if you will, in terms of Asian football here. Are they too languid at times? What are they setting out to do? Are they going to be on the front foot, Shep?
Yes, there's only one question when we look at the formation, John, and the big question is going to be their skipper. Where is Makoto Hasebe going to play? Is he going to play in the middle of a back three, as he does for his club, Eintracht Frankfurt, and allow Nagatomo and Sakai to be the wing backs? Because I think, then that just gives Japan the edge, because Inui will play on the shoulder of Sainsbury going wide. Asano will make sure that Spiranovic, is not given too much time on the ball, and so the front line, I think, it could be like that. Obviously, we've spoken about Sakai and Nagatomo as the wing backs, and Idiguchi for me, to be the playmaker. So I look at this, and I think if they play Hasebe at the back, John, where he is comfortable playing for his club, I think it could work well for the Japanese.
Shebs, does this look like they're a bit perhaps putting too much respect to Australia, giving too much respect to this Australian side? I mean, almost going man for man, changing their style of play in this one.
I think 3-on-3 here is going to be very important, because then you force the Australian wing backs, to do this, which means, then you've got Idiguchi, you've got Nagatomo, you've got Yamaguchi overrunning the midfield. So this is a must-win, and if you look at this game and you think, if you put Australia under enough pressure, you could get some joy out of that.
I take your point though, Roshan. I think it's a very good one, because it does look as if they might be going like for like in this game. But of course, there are two very different incentives in play here. So Sheby's laid out an approach whereby it's Japan on the front foot and Australia setting up as they do. But that gives them options in turn, doesn't it? Particularly with the players in behind Robbie Cruz.
Absolutely. I mean, we look at their lineup here. Let's get these Japanese players back in their own half. They've been a little bit too excited, trying to bomb forward and attack this Australian side. We'll get Nagatomo, get back into your left back position. Asano, move forward. But we look at this Japanese forward line, and it's incredibly mobile. And I absolutely take Sheby's point about going 3-on-3 against three very big men at the back here, perhaps lacking a bit of mobility in those positions. But what Australia, I think, might try to do in this game is, when they are out of possession, they can afford to sit back just a little bit, draw Japan out, and then try and use their physicality in these central positions. We're looking at very powerful players in there. Luongo has got legs in central midfield. Jackson Irvine can go and put in some hard-hitting challenges there. And of course, you've got talent. Rogic getting forward, Troisi getting forward on the counter-attack as well. And I spoke about Robbie Cruiser starting up front for them. He's got more mobility, so he won't be that focal point that you expect from someone like Tommy Juric. You could see him even dropping off, trying to drag these central defenders out with him, and then you see the likes of Troisi getting in forward. Another thing that Rogic has in his locker is lovely strikes from long range, the ability to shoot. So if Japan do decide to go and play the way they did in that first leg, they've got to try and close down Rogic in central midfield.
Let's get a little sense, shall we, of exactly what the mood is and perhaps exactly how much they're going to be looking to get after this one, Australia. A quick word we can grab now with their coach, Ange Postecoglou.
Well, Ange, first of all, the news that Aaron Moy and Tommy Juric are both out tonight. So what's the problem with those two, and what are you trying to do to negate their absence?
Oh, well, Tommy obviously didn't train all week. He had a fitness test this morning and he pulled up okay. But with him not training all week, we think it was better putting him on the bench and maybe have an impact later. Aaron just had a bad night. He's got a virus or something, and the doctor ruled him out this morning, so wasn't available for selection.
Did you give him every chance to try and play today?
Who's that?
Aaron.
Well, I mean, it happened today, so I mean, he's not well, so ruled out, and we'll do without him.
No change in approach then for the team tonight?
No, look, we've been in the situation before, and from our perspective, nothing changes, and the team we got out there will be able to execute the way we want.
Such a massive game, Ange, but is the pressure, do you think, on Japan a little bit more than you?
No, I don't think so. I think both teams know what's at stake, so the pressure's there, but I think it's the kind of pressure where we welcome it. This is where we want to be, and we want to be playing for a World Cup spot, and we've got that opportunity.
Wish you well. Thanks, Ange.
Thanks, mate.
And he knows full well that in terms of Asian rivalries, this is about as good as it gets. Let's just look at the fact that Japan have been dominant in recent times in this one. Classic encounters. You go back to 2006, if you will, and Timmy Cahill scoring in that amazing 3-1 in Kaiserslautern. But he was actually the guy who scored the 2 goals that saw them overcome Japan the last time they beat the Japanese, and that was in that 2010 World Cup qualifier. Since then, as you can see, 3 wins and 3 draws. They've always been tight, though, haven't they, in these games, Shebby?
Most certainly, I think the Japanese most welcome Australia coming into Asia, because that gave them an opportunity to play against a different brand of football. Yes, the Japanese, they might have had some draws there, John, but I can tell you that the Japanese normally have dominated the ball. They've dominated possession against the Australians. The Australians normally have come up against Japan and played very, very defensively.
Let's pick up on that point. Let's go back to October last year and go to Melbourne. And this was a classic case of Japan dominating, and right from the outset it was a game in which Genki Haraguchi was both hero and villain, but they didn't build on this, did they, Russia?
No, you look at that and you identify a pattern straight away when you watch this game. Japan sitting back, looking to hit on those counter attacks, and at the time they had Haraguchi with the pace to get forward. It's not been in great form for them, so he misses out in this Japanese lineup. But you can understand absolutely what Japan were doing in those situations, and what we've seen from Halihodzic with this Japanese side as well is trying to change that style a little bit. Yes, they're very good, very comfortable in possession, but at times they struggle to try and break teams down. So they're starting to sort of perhaps learn how to invite the pressure on towards them, so they've got that space to try and get forward.
And there he was committing really a fairly naive little foul there.
You shoulder into the back there. He's going nowhere. He's going wide and away from goal. But credit to Australia for picking up, showing the character to come back into this game. And creating those opportunities there, eventually getting their reward.
Okay, guys, just before we wrap this part of the show up, what happens tonight, Shebby?
I expect the home team to win, and I think it'll be close, yes, certainly, but 2-0 to Japan.
Thank you very much. More from the rest of the guys soon, and it's a big night just getting going on Fox Sports Live. £1.2 billion has already been spent by clubs desperate for value in a white-hot transfer market. But time is running out. Join me to look back at England's deadline day, the last gasp deals, the panic buys, the near misses. We'll have every angle covered. So join me for our transfer window special tomorrow at 7 p.m. live on Fox Sports.
Open Championship.
Exciting.
So good.
Electric.
Slides away.
And the toughest city to take down. So get tougher.
Game on.
Get faster. Get louder.
Fireworks back in.
For the final Grand Slam of the year, the US Open 2017, tonight. Live on the Fox Sports Network.
into the Saitama Stadium. It is jam-packed. Timmy Cahill on the substitutes bench for Australia. Many eyes on him, but he is not in the starting 11 for Australia, who are also missing Aaron Moy. And on the bench will be Tommy Juric, players who were expected to play a part in this difficult match against Japan. It's quite simple, the equation. Victory for Japan, and they will make it through to the next stage. Guaranteed a sixth place in the sixth consecutive World Cup finals. Australia, victory for them, and they are just about guaranteed that place as well. A draw, and they would have to beat Thailand on their last match day. PJ Roberts, an Aussie native, but he's played football throughout Southeast Asia in his career, joins me in the commentary box. And PJ, before we talk about Australia, let's talk about Japan, and a relatively experienced side, certainly defensively, with a little bit of inexperience up front, but victory for them, they are through again. Favourites?
I would have to suggest that Japan are favourites, particularly playing this game at home and all that is at stake. We've obviously heard about the pressure that Japan are under, and particularly their manager, who's been widely spoken about putting under pressure, the man in the picture right there. But for Japan, playing at home in front of their home crowd, yes, definitely favourites. I mean, we need to look at it. We saw quite clearly Australia have not beaten Japan since 2009. They really have built a very solid rivalry, these two countries, since Australia entered the Asian Football Confederation. But we had the opportunity here from Ange Postecoglou. Never changes the approach or the philosophy to his style of play, regardless of the situation, regardless of the pressure. So when we look at the changes in that Australian lineup, the one key aspect that could concern Japan is the level of ability.
Đam mê bóng đá, những đam mê tốn.
Khoảng 3 tháng gần đây là ngày nào trước khi đi ngủ này, rồi sau khi ngủ dậy là em cũng uống một thức uống cực kỳ thần kỳ luôn. Thật mỹ đi.
That is a strong bench for Japan.
Match referee Alireza Fageni. He's got bags of experience, Alireza. AFC Champions League final 2014, 2015 AFC Asian Cup final, FIFA World Cup, and the Olympic final football match. For Australia, three at the back: Sainsbury, Spiranovic and Mark Milligan. Bags of experience there. Up front though, no Timmy Cahill, no Aaron Moy. Tommy Rogic with an important role to play.
He does a very important role, supported by Troisi and Cruz. There is plenty of mobility in that final third for Australia, with decent options off the bench as well. Tim Cahill, who certainly enjoys playing against Japan, a very good goal-scoring record there. Jamie McLaren, who's starting there over there in Germany as well. We do expect a really solid performance from both teams coming into this game, but it is that mobility for Australia through midfield and in that final third, which I think looks relatively exciting.
Coach Vahid Halilhodžić and Ange Postecoglou, both under pressure of a different kind. For Halilhodžić, he's expected to take his team to Russia. Postecoglou, yeah, he's expected, but in the same way.
Certainly is. Level of expectation in Australia now, having played in the last couple of World Cups, to fail to qualify would be seen as an absolute disaster, and we can say exactly the same for Japan as well, given the level of expectation in that country also.
Saudi Arabia's loss to United Arab Emirates the other night has given both of these chance to secure their berth in Russia tonight. It's the green and gold who get us underway. Australia versus Japan. Saitama Stadium packed to the rafters. An early sliding tackle coming in by Ideguchi. PJ Roberts, former player in Southeast Asian leagues. Aussie through and through, will be trying to keep a neutral hat on today, PJ.
It certainly is, Des. Putting that professional hat on. Completely impartial for obvious reasons.
Should he stray, I will do my best to bring him back. Japan.
I wouldn't expect anything else, Des.
Sakai makes the forward run. Who's caught in possession? That's a corner conceded by Mati Spiranovic.
It's been a shaky start for Australia, giving the ball away in midfield, and it's Baranovic a little bit cumbersome on the ball.
Australia are a physically big side. Gucci look to try and maybe pick out Ozako. Raise it immediately. Let's have stern words with the defenders. Second corner. Ozako was the target.
Yeah, too short. It's always an interesting set piece to that near post, just looking for the flick on.
The header, attacking it was Sakai, and he did attack it.
He certainly did. Timed his run very well. Just took it a little bit early. Being good defending. Ultimately from Australia, Milligan just doing enough to make it difficult for Sakai.
Australia planning to play out from the back. That was Rogic. Straight in was Jen Shoji, 24-year-old, plays for Kashmir Antlers. Asabi seems to have been in Europe forever, currently with Eintracht Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. Holding from Ozako. Mireth. Mark Milligan playing as one of the back three. Happy with that? Would you prefer him into the heart of midfield?
Well, I think it's really been the elevation of Jackson Irvine in particular in the last few games for Australia that has provided Postecoglou with the option of playing Milligan deeper.
There was Irvine. Sainsbury just forcing it away. Yoshida back to Kawashima. He's returned in goal. Miocic favours the Mets goalkeeper. Nagatomo. The target. Milligan helps it forward. Sakai. They took movement ahead of Hiroki Sakai. And getting there first was Yamaguchi.
Good link-up play between Sakai and Yamaguchi. Baranovic. Good turn of pace just to close in. Made a good sliding challenge.
Matt Ryan, who plays for Brighton, happy to play short despite the high press from the Japanese, and that is, well, highly dangerous to play out from that when you're under the press.
Well, there's that philosophy of Ange Postecoglou, regardless of the situation. Continue to play that same style of play. They want to play out of the back, they want to keep possession. Matt Ryan is very competent on the ball, which does provide them with that option. But as we've seen there, Japan really aware of that, pressing Australia very high up the park.
As Inui pressing. Milligan, little dink over to Brad Smith. Smith, who hasn't had a lot of football recently, and good covering there from Yoshida. Out by Sakai. Early atmosphere. Jackson Irvine lost the header. Luckily for Australia, Trent Sainsbury is there. Otherwise, Ozako was in behind him. There's Asano, member of the German contingent, alongside Ozako. Yoshida's header. Or one of the nations not get the job done today. Thailand have a match against Australia on the final match day in Australia, so Aussies would like to think that they can come through that. Japan have got to go to Saudi Arabia.
Really does make it step by step in this qualification process. So intriguing, this group, through the entire qualifying round.
I think Cruz have made a good run. Mervyn loses the tackle, Spiranovic covering. Milligan. And Japan pressing the ball. Australia doing well enough through Luongo to come away with possession. Cruz made the forward run. Leckie. Smith was wide left. Jackson Irvine. Little give and go. Put out for a corner by Nagatomo.
The best passage of play for Australia. Keeping possession, continuing to work the ball. Leckie hugging that touchline, trying to link up with Robbie Cruz, who we have seen in the early stages of this game peel off into a wide area.
James Troisi with the corner. Spiranovic is up there, as is Sainsbury. Spiranovic header. And again. Only half cleared. And it comes through with Milligan in front of the goalkeeper, Kawashima. Inui wins the free kick. Brad Smith disagrees, so does PJ Roberts.
It's a very good delivery from Kawashima. Just look at absolutely no foul on that whatsoever. He's got to be a bit stronger on the ball there. Referee obviously disagreeing. It does give Japan another decent opportunity from a set piece.
Ideguchi. Lovely ball flicked in. He comes away with it. I'll get you ahead of him. Coming over once again was Yoshida. Troisi and Smith trying to work it out. Smith takes the quick throw, but against Australia. Japan ball. Good from that first corner, PJ. Japan were there for the second ball.
Well set up. I think Australia really enjoyed those set pieces. They've had good joy in the last few qualifiers in scoring from corner kicks and set pieces.
Zarco making life very difficult for Trent Sainsbury originally. Cruz did well, but pulled his man back. It's like a boxing match at the moment, isn't it? Little jabs being thrown, nothing too serious. Players will be very familiar to each other. In the German Bundesliga, teams from representatives from Bochum, Hertha Berlin, the Australia side. Frankfurt, Cologne and Stuttgart for Japan. Sainsbury. He's been registered in China, hasn't been playing many games, Trent Sainsbury.
That's a very good point, Des. We also look at Mark Milligan, who's currently in pre-season with Melbourne Victory. Spiranovic, the only player in that defensive line that is playing regular, and that is in the second division in China.
Asano doesn't get the cross past Spiranovic. Second chance for Takuma Asano. The overlap from Sakai. Behind everybody. Sabi leaves it. Second chance for Sakai. 3 in the penalty area, went short. Cleared by Troisi, who's doing some sterling defensive work. Maybe you don't want him so deep. Sano the target. Spiranovic let it roll out.
Or Japan, when they are in possession, very eager to get bodies forward. That is forcing the likes of Smith deep, Troisi deep as well.
Ryan, the pressure. Keeper can only put that on for a throw-in for Japan.
Again, excellent defending from Japan. They know Australia are going to try and play the ball out of the back. They're putting them under immense pressure, defending very high up the park.
Sainsbury tripped as he made the clearance. Troisi, he finds Asabi. Asabi caught in possession by Rogic. Wongo, nice flick. Troisi, Smith was outside of him. Jackson Irvine. He's made a terrific run across the back four. But didn't pick him out. James Troisi. Skoranovic. Lecky. Irvine. Lecky again. Cruz down the line. He crosses it, might come to Brad Smith. Sakai just doing enough, and Smith's cross deflected. Kawashima under pressure makes the catch.
Another good passage of play for Australia, keeping possession, stretching wide on the right. Robbie Cruz linking up very well with Lecky. Cruz with a good ball into the box, but no support for Australia.
Troisi penalised.
Can't touch goalkeepers these days, Des, can you? You was going to say that, didn't you?
There is the underprotected Kawashima. Flag up against Yuya Ozako. Arab Emirates causing a real upset. Two fabulous goals to beat Saudi Arabia 2 nights ago. They were looking for the run of Inui. Inui's now on the ball. Yamaguchi. Inui darting. Might fancy a shot. Inui!
Inui, technically very proficient. Just this lovely little shimmy there that creates that couple of yards of space. Sends Sainsbury the wrong way.
To be curled in by Ideguchi. Ryan gets there. Rogic completes the clearance. Had to get there because Yoshida was lurking. Kawashima winning his 77th cap today. Launches long. Smith testing Matty Ryan's agility. Ryan clears again, it's only to a Japan ball. Ozako. Sainsbury across, but they've coughed possession up 2 or 3 times now defensively, Australia.
Japan just winning the first ball. Ryan very good with his distribution. A little bit disrupted so far this evening.
Corner number 4 for Ideguchi. Zarko short. Came all the way to the back post where Asano was waiting. That's clearly a set play.
Very good set play as well. It's a delightful ball into that back post. Asano peeling off well. Just needing to knot it back into that 6-yard box.
Well, cynically playing the ball before it reached him. Continuing to do it. Spiranovic. Win the next ball from Ryan. That's 3 in a row they've lost possession on, but they've won it back. Smith. Rogic ahead of him. Troisi. Irvin. Spiranovic. Rogic, the target. Bobby Cruz just trying to play it into James Troisi.
Well, good movement again. Build-up play. Cruz very quick to dart in behind that defensive line. Australia does enter that attacking area. There's that mobility and pace that we were referring to. Whilst they are lacking a general focal point from your traditional type of front man or striker, that mobility and the movement by which Australia enters that attacking third does look lively.
Pressure from Asano. Good strength from James Troisi. Gone through 2 challenges. And they've got a man over if they can play him in. Matthew Leckie. Never really fell. Hasabia's there to toe poke it clear. Smith. Massimo Luongo, the QPR midfielder. Luongo spreads wide to Leckie. Hugging this left-hand touchline. Sainsbury. Patient build-up, looking for the run of Leckie. Seen by Nagatomo. Gone by Iraguchi. Inui. Blocked down by Mark Milligan.
Well, free kick for studs raised. I'm not quite sure how you put a challenge in without getting your leg that high.
Like James Troisi plays his football in the A-League for Melbourne Victory. Spiranovic to Jackson Irvin. Approaching 20 minutes. Still a little bit cagey, thought so far, PJ Roberts.
Well, it has been. Japan getting off to a better start than Australia, but Australia just really starting to exert a little bit of dominance.
Sakai versus Smith. Good battle. Sakai clears down the line. Australia throwing.
Sakai did very well there. Brad Smith. It's very, very good acceleration. Sakai just using his body to shield the ball, block the run of Smith in behind. Japan are looking solid defensively.
Sabi thought he had a little poke on the nose there. Again back to his keeper. 20 minutes played. Sainsbury. Rogic. Leckie. Who's again had made a good run. Troisi close. Troisi the target. Sabi again. Just gets an important touch. Good strength from Matthew Leckie. Touch from Troisi didn't quite work. Luongo. Lecky. That time it was Yamaguchi who belts it clear. Japan almost playing like an away team at the moment, looking to spring on the break. And Asano.
Australia certainly have started to find their rhythm when going forward. Good combination passes. For all that bit of dominance that they're starting to exert, no real goal-threatening chances.
Haliodzic on his touchline, telling his chargers to press a little bit more, a little bit further.
He's very animated on that touchline. Just see him in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen.
And it works because Yamaguchi wins it back. Hasebe onto Sakai. Lovely move from Sakai. Irvin is across, but Asano can take it on. Asano just too far ahead of Sakai.
Sakai clearly demonstrating the athleticism that he has out on this right-hand side. A little piece of skill continues with his run. It was well read here from Sainsbury just to cut it out also.
Azako! That's the shot away. Straight at Matt Ryan. Again, they've given possession up in their own half, Australia.
Japan is demonstrating how dangerous they can be in those situations. Sakai does have a good strike from distance.
Massimo Luongo. Midpoint of the first half, still goalless at Saitama. To remain like that, we go into the final round of matches with Japan top of the table on 18, Australia 17, Saudi on 16, UAE on 13. Two guaranteed places from this group. One more match day to come after today. Luongo. Cruz. Surrounded by two. Looked like it came off Matty Cruz. Robbie Cruz.
He did well. He's closed down very quickly as well.
Luongo. Smith made a good run. Tracy. Picking off from nowhere.
a little bit overzealous with that through ball. See another player, as we mentioned, who is in pre-season at the moment, so he certainly will not be match condition. He is basically that in that starting position because of the illness of Aaron Moy.
Irvin up to Lecky. Irvin. He was beaten to it by Nagatomo. Hasebe. Azako, good strength from Yuya Azako. Yoshida will start things off. Jen Shoji. Nagatomo, lovely little touch. Inui. Gucci found a little bit of space. We can't get the cross away. Start again. It's the first really sustained spell of pressure from Japan. Spell of possession anyway. Sakai gives it away again. He and Asano clearly not on the same wavelength tonight.
There's plenty of movement. There's plenty of penetrative runs. Just that final ball has been lacking for Japan. But in broken play, when Australia give the ball up, they do look very dangerous to counter very quickly.
Sakai won it. Gives it. It's right back. Two organised teams. All Lungo on the offensive, sees off Hasebi. Rogic able to use those quick feet, Tommy Rogic. And Hasebi once again, a little toe poke, assisted by Yamaguchi. Zarko. Irvin. Nicky. Irvin has got Rogic ahead of him. This is Longo. Sainsbury will start things off from the back. Nicky provides the width. Unconvinced by Robbie Cruz going to ground.
Trent Sainsbury playing in the middle of that back three. Mike Milligan very comfortable also in that position, but obviously wanting to get Sainsbury on the ball when bringing it out from the back. He does have very good passing range, as we've seen on a couple of times where he's found Matthew Leckie in that wide right area.
Sainsbury's got defensive work to do. Zarko spins away from him. Sakai after good defensive work there from Robbie Cruz. Rogic, sorry, Tracy. Rogic to his left. This is Leckie. Luongo. Like a carpet. It doesn't bobble, it's easy to play the passing game. Both sides are trying to do that in possession. Smith. World Cup qualification football tonight. Thailand versus Iraq. 8 o'clock Hong Kong time start. In the other group, China versus Uzbekistan, South Korea versus Iran, Syria versus Qatar. All 8 o'clock Hong Kong time kickoffs. Closes down, Milligan. The press is a little bit higher. Kuchi. Longo, but eventually Smanovic launches it long. Has been an animated character on the technical line, Vahid Haliotic.
He certainly has been barking instructions continuously.
Hidaguchi, Hasebi. Sakai always looking to involve himself. Hasebi carries on his run. Just couldn't take it in his stride. Cruz. Smith went inside of him. Rogic available. Now played as the Celtic man. Pick out the ball to Robbie Cruz. Ball goes against Cruz. And the referee gets another shake of the head from PJ Roberts.
It's definitely handball. No concerns around that. It certainly wasn't a shake of the head.
Have been one or two though.
It's been a couple. The referee certainly enjoyed his whistle this evening.
Highly respected ref. big final in Rio. So he's used to the big occasion and a full house here. This is a big occasion. It may not be a final, but it's got a knockout feel to it.
Massive occasion, Des. Cannot overstate how important this game is for both teams. A win for either team and they secure their way through to the World Cup. Doesn't get much bigger than that.
Jackson Irvine with Hull this year. Championship, Luongo also in that level, QPR. Lecky. Milligan. Lecky has found a little bit of space. Two in the penalty area. Shima there ahead of Robbie Cruz.
Again, that's comfortable, confident build-up play for Australia. Teresi, nice piece of work out on that right-hand side. Decent ball in behind Robbie Cruz with that pace as well. Karashima does well just to come out and collect it early.
Under pressure. Is only 21, he doesn't look it from that shot. Trendy grey hair. Won't want that when he's older. Hidiguchi, it's only his third cap. Smiranovic. And always available. By Yoshida, four by Sainsbury, Thulecki, play from Luongo. Cruz can't get there, Nagatomo can. There's an injury down for this match, Nagatomo. Brad Smith, barging forward, Brad Smith into Sakai. That's a shake of the head from PJ.
He's in possession of the ball, charging forward. That's his momentum.
Isn't he charging them?
He's got the ball in front of him. He's had a touch. If anything, it's just play on.
Ange Postecoglou might agree with you. A ruffled suit, part of cartoon character look. Ange Postecoglou.
Well, he would have enjoyed this first half, but regardless for the possession, some of that dominance in field position they've had, very few clear-cut opportunities, which would be the biggest concerning aspect.
Inui, there's no width down for him. Sakai, that's a speculative shot at best from Hiroki Sakai.
Japan just finding it a little bit difficult to find their rhythm in this game. Not having as much possession as they would like. The CB1 player really does need to stamp his dominance in that midfield area for Japan.
Inui, Ozako, two players out wide, one of whom was Inui, and it's dipped over and wide. Asano just couldn't grow.
Well, there's that danger, that threat that Japan posed. Broken play again. Lovely build-up play getting in behind Australia. Asano just unable to angle that back. It was a decent ball, slight deflection from that cross from Nagatomo.
Sabi nose to the floor. A little shove from James Shoisi had put him there. Absolutely nothing. 60% possession to Australia. Hasebe for Japan. He's made a couple of important interceptions. He's also been caught in possession a couple of times, Makoto Hasebe, and here he's given the ball to Tommy Rogic. Yoshida stops Rogic. Mongo to Mark Milligan. Lecky. Mongo under pressure from Inui. Taking the ball from very deep with, you've got Milligan there and Sainsbury, you don't really need to have Luongo that deep, I would suggest.
Very true. 3 players in that back line for Australia, comfortable on the ball, good distribution, does allow those midfielders to step a little bit further forward.
Trent Sainsbury sitting down for once. Cruz will chase that in the channels. Yoshida goes with him. Rogic looks for Smith. Sakai did well. Sano helped it on, but it will only break to Brad Smith. Spiranovic now further forward. Troisi. Turn from Luongo to Lecky, deflected off the post. Matthew Lecky in a central area, close as we've come to a goal. Rogic ball in, dealt with by Kawashima.
Kawashima come up with his line comfortably. There's that strike from Lecky. It was a poor strike, but it was the deflection that angled it onto the post.
We've come to a goal 7 minutes before half-time. We do remain goalless. Ideguchi presses the man who hit the post. Touch from Rogic. Ideguchi and Inui combining. Here is Inui. Zarko wants the corner, gets the corner.
Well, in the early stages of this game, Australia were under pressure from Japan's corner kicks. They've been starved of possession and opportunities, Japan, but in the later stages of this half, they'll relish an opportunity for another set piece like this.
Fifth corner. Four lurking around about the edge of the penalty area, 2 just outside. Was the target. Spiranovic cleared into a ruck of players. Milligan with the second clearance. Noguchi's header now might break for Cruz. That's unusual from Hasebe. As it was from Jackson Irvine. All a bit scrappy until Asano gets the cross in. Smith affects the clearance. To half-time. It ain't been a classic, PJ.
No, it hasn't. But it has been incredibly intense. You can really sense the urgency from both teams.
Chance Asano! Out of nothing, Takuma Asano scores his 3rd international goal. Japan have the lead.
Well, the stadium certainly erupts in absolute joy. Asano with a delightful touch into the back of the net. Beats the offside from that Australian defence. And it it is the quality of this ball from Nagatomo coming from deep. Could he have come off his line? A little bit more urgency to collect the ball. He was stranded on that goal line. But an absolutely gorgeous ball from Nagatomo. And there's the threat, there's the quality that Japan really do pose in that final third. Starved of possession, starved of opportunities, but when it counts, absolute quality.
We wondered whether the benching of Okazaki and Honda and Kagawa was a gamble. One of the young kids on the block, Takuma Asano, is the man who has given Japan the lead. And they can almost taste the Russian caviar. What have Australia got? 2009 since Australia last beat Japan. Would you believe? Plenty of draws between them, including a 1-1 draw. The teams met earlier this campaign.
Well, that statistic quite telling. That dominance in possession for Australia, but only 2 shots on goal compared to Japan's 7.
To do well, but it's only broken to Azako. Asano again. Deflected.
So dangerous. Fringes of that 18-yard box. Can shoot from distance. Good trickery to create that space for himself.
Another shot just wide, that time from Azako, who does get across the front of a defender so well.
He does and takes it very well. Good ball from Sakai. Sainsbury needs to be stronger on that challenge. Japan has certainly taken a little bit to get going in this game, but they have powered in the latter stages of this half.
Yellow card for Azako. For an offence I didn't see. He's chasing down Sainsbury to Rogic. Big man with wonderfully nimble feet, Tommy Rogic. Wongo. Naga beats Robbie Cruz.
Well, it was very tight. Cruz certainly knows that. He's very quick to play on the shoulder, the last defender. Japan have done well with their defensive line continuing to step up, aiming to try and keep it compact in that midfield area for the last 10 to 15 minutes.
The ball in from Nagatomo. Sana was on the move. The cutest of finishers. We see loses out. And Smith comes off Smith. Just 60 seconds to add at the end of this first half. Australia lose, could come down to goal difference between them and Saudi Arabia, dependent upon results on the final match day. The Saudis will have a slight advantage if Australia do lose today.
They will. And that earlier in the Saudi-Japan game. So it's not all over if either team loses this game, but it certainly does make it more challenging.
It's really challenging at the moment because the one goal of the game has come from Takuma Asano. It came just a few minutes before half-time. Nagatomo's lovely ball in, a static Australian rearguard, and Asano with the only goal of the game. At half-time, Japan leading this vital World Cup qualifier by a goal to nil.
Castles rising from the sea. Long-lost treasures revealing themselves. Magic is all around. And the best magic of all is finding where yours begins. Thai, smooth as silk.
September is going to be supercharged on Fox Sports.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant.
It's the last slam of the year, so prepare for shocks and/or at the US Open.
Oh, it's extraordinary.
It's lights out and away we go. Charge up for a test of speed with live coverage of Formula One and MotoGP.
Marcus tries to ride around the outside of Vincenzo and the long jump the inside. Here we go.
Golf's best gets amped up in time for the Evian Championships.
Empty shot, it's gone where no one's gone before.
Overload on football action all month long, courtesy of the AFC Champions League and the Bundesliga.
And that's an excellent strike, and that's an excellent goal.
Get on board this September for a supercharged month of sporting action on the Fox Sports Network.
This is Fox Sports FC.
I'm a huge fan of it.
The footballers' football show that covers the best leagues in the world and isn't afraid to go in hard on all topics.
Will Van Dijk become world class? I don't think so.
So join the club. Fox Sports FC, Monday 8 p.m. on Fox Sports and Fox Sports Play.
A breeze so peaceful. An elegance roams the green fields. With a passion to challenge, courageous they stand.
Beautiful stroke there.
Venture with the ladies to experience the greatest golfing events.
He's a winner on the LPGA Tour.
LPGA 2017, live on the Fox Sports Network. Cambia Portland Classic, presented by JTBC. Tomorrow, live on Fox Sports 3.
Lee Na's Australian Open triumph in 2014 was a tale of perseverance. A beaten finalist twice before. This time, Lee stormed to victory over Slovakia's Dominika Cibulkova.
Has there been a more popular winner?
But it was her humour at the presentation which really won the fans.
Max, agent, make me rich. Thanks a lot. First, my husband, even famous in China. So, thanks a lot. You're a nice guy. And also, you are so lucky. Fund me.
China's first Grand Slam winner is a hard act to follow.
Match day 1 of the 2017 AFC Champions League saw Hong Kong outfit Eastern Sports Club step into uncharted territory. Having been crowned champions of their top flight last season, they became the first club from Hong Kong to qualify for this tournament. But in their opening encounter, they're up against two-time champions Guangzhou Evergrande.
It's gone to the penalty spot, the flick on, and it looks like an opening goal. Was it denied by the hand of Wong Jiaho? I think it was, Stanley, a red card!
Take a look, firstly put in a great area. It was Douglas who got that header, that's going in, and that's a clear handball to be. What he's done is he's missed his head, Wong Jiaho.
Ricardo up against Yap Hung Fai. Easily done, and Guangzhou Evergrande on their way.
Down to 10 men, but what a cool finish from Ricardo Goulart.
Li Sheng spins it into the near post, a testing cross. It's not cleared. Oh, how is that not 2-0? Ricardo Goulart with a cross-come shot. Dangerous looking cross. Great save. 2-0 to Guangzhou Evergrande. Wan Shengyang. Another set piece. Another goal. Handball, yes, given away by Wong Chi-chong, and this is getting worse and worse for the Hong Kong side. To make it 3-0. Oh, great save, Yap Hung Fai! Denying Allen, that's brilliant. Zheng Ji, sweetly done to Goulart. It's 3-0 to Guangzhou. Liao Li Sheng completing a sweeping move by the CSL club. It's 5 against 3. It's not cleared, and a foul given away by Wan Chi-chong. And that's his second yellow card of the game, Stanley. Eastern reduced to 9 men. They're 3-0 down. Josh Mitchell half clearing, put back in by Wang. Ricardo Goulart chests it down, puts the volley in. Great save! Oh, twice from Yap Hung Fai. That's just brilliant. Oh, chance for Gao-lin. Now, can Allen get on the score sheet? He's got time. What a save from Yap Hung Fai. Zhu Peng gets to the byline, whips it across. Gao-lin! Oh, it's too easy now for Guangzhou. Too easy. Liao Li Sheng on the score sheet. His second of the game. Guangzhou's fourth. Liao Li Sheng looking for players in the middle. Gao-lin! Oh! Li Zhu Peng off the post. Off the bar rather, in the follow-up. Not converted. Should have been 5-0. Li Zhu Peng. Saw the wall pass with Allen, who goes by himself and expertly finishes, and is finally on the score sheet after missing a penalty in the first half.
Exquisite strike.
Paulinho! What a way to make it 6-0! Delivered to the penalty spot. Allen was waiting. It's not cleared. And the chance to make it 7-0! Wang Shengyang on the score sheet. And wow, there's still 6 minutes left for Eastern to survive this Guangzhou Evergrande onslaught. Well, that's not gone in from Yu Hang Chao, but what has happened is that Christopher Beath has called end to this nightmare showing.
A welcome that Eastern were not expecting in their continental debut. Visitors Guangzhou Evergrande and their home court a 7-0 thumping in the Group D
hàng rất tốt, hơi khó, cao còn lô hàng của Tùi với cả áo Phương Nam ấy. Bán cho anh đấy nhá. Chị nhắn số của Cao sang cho anh đấy, xong rồi Xong rồi anh ấy gọi ra Cao rồi, anh ấy lên nhà Cao thì Cao có bán cho anh ấy giờ tí nhá. Tại bạn của chị
Let's
nhá.
learn about the 7th inning stretch.
Thế nhá.
It's time for the 7th inning stretch.
It is the traditional time for fans to stand, stretch, and even sing before the home team comes to bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. No one really knows for sure how the custom started, but there is evidence that it dates back to the 1800s. After the visiting team bats in the 7th inning, fans rise to stretch their arms and legs.
At the end of 6.5 innings of play, it's time for the 7th inning stretch.
And maybe wish their team good luck. And unite to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Fans at every MLB game celebrate the 7th inning stretch, making it one of the most cherished ballpark experiences a fan can have.
There's more than one way to experience the thrill of racing.
Oh, that's going to be a red flag. Oh no, massive crash there.
So rev up and get into gear with the Formula 2 Championship on the Fox Sports Network. Exciting.
So good.
Electric.
And slides away.
And the toughest city to take down. So get tougher.
Game on.
Get faster. Get louder.
Fireworks back in.
For the final Grand Slam of the year, the US Open 2017, tonight. Live on the Fox Sports Network.
Good evening and welcome to
a standout match in a key period of the season.
It's become one of world football's most fascinating rivalries. It's Benzelev, it's Nabil Benzelev! Nabil Benzelev has scored a truly sensational goal.
Robben's gone for goal himself and scores magnificently.
Lovely work by Naby Keita, and it's a great hit as well. And Naby Keita has scored a truly sensational goal.
And that is 2-1.
And that is the stuff that champions are made of.
A very warm welcome back to a packed Saitama World Cup Stadium. We are here for a World Cup qualification match, an Asia World Cup qualification match involving Japan and Australia. Half-time, Japan, the home nation, leading the visiting Socceroos by 1-0. If it stays that way, it will mean Japan will qualify for a 6th consecutive World Cup finals, and Australia will go down to a final day duel against Thailand with level points to Saudi Arabia, who finished their campaign against Japan. PJ Roberts, an Aussie through and through, but a neutral football expert alongside me in the commentary box. PJ, for Japan, they've just got 45 minutes to see the job through.
They do. Dominant towards the latter stages of that first half, but certainly were slow to get going. Australia dominating possession, but really no positive, clear-cut opportunities for Australia, and Japan threatening in those dying stages.
Australia did hit the post through a deflected shot from Matthew Leckie 4 or 5 minutes before the opening goal, but that was as close as they came. In fact, they were outshot 8-3 in that first half, so plenty of possession but no attacking threat for the Aussies.
That's correct. With Japan with those shots, a couple of decent strikes as we did see. Australia's mobility did cause Japan some trouble. Cruz peeling off into those right-hand areas, linking up very well with Matthew Leckie. Rogic dropping deep to pick up the ball. Tracy with his movement as well. Interesting to see the options and the substitutes that Ange Postecoglou will ring if the scoreline does remain the same.
Second half underway, Japan in the blue, Australia in the green and gold. Japan 1, Australia 0. Let me give you the teams. There's a free kick for Japan. They've got Kawashima in goal, a back four of Sakai, Shoji, Yoshida and Nagatomo. Asabi in the heart of midfield alongside Yamaguchi and Ideguchi. Osako leading the line, Inui and Asano providing the width. The early foul from Sakai. Reaching into James Troisi.
Certainly wasn't a foul. The referee in the stages of this half has got that terribly wrong.
Australia, Matty Ryan in goal. Milligan, Sainsbury, Spiranovic, the back three. Leckie and Smith provide the width. Jackson Irvin and Massimo Luongo in the heart of midfield. Tommy Rogic supporting James Troisi with Robbie Cruz up front. Match referee Ali Reza Fageni. Only goal scored by Takuma Asano. It's the managed shot and the man trying to get onto the end of that little flick from Osaka. Didn't quite get there, but the 22-year-old has proved that he's up for the big occasion.
Well, they've looked threatening when they have broken forward in that disrupted play. Nui, Sako, Asano, Gucci behind would look to try and get on the ball a little bit more than they did in that first half.
Here's Inui. Ideguchi. Sakai. Sano providing the width. Sano. It's on Arsenal's books. Gets the cross in. It's behind for a goal kick.
Well, he is very comfortable on the ball. Very clever in those situations. His ability to move the ball very quickly to create space for himself has been impressive. He looks dangerous when he's attacking very, very quickly.
Goto Asabi. Little flick through, trying to feed in Yamaguchi. Ryan only just gets that out of his feet. Asano was closing down at some pace. There's Nagai. And they have made it difficult for Australia to play out from the back as they like to do so, Japan.
Well, they did this very well at the beginning of that first half as well. Just Irvine, one player who has a couple of terrible touches at the beginning of this second half.
Leckie's throwing. Georgie just delaying it. It's James Troisi. It's for Smith. Troisi carries on his run. Jackson Irvin, the 24-year-old, into Rogic. Leckie. Keeper's got to come out. Nearly a confusing moment. Yoshida causing Kawashima a real problem there.
Yoshida allowing the ball to run. Little touch that Kawashima held on to. Incredibly fortunate. Certainly could have gone anywhere.
Milligan. It's the early kickoff tonight. 4 other World Cup matches taking place tonight. One of them in this group versus Iraq. Two teams who won't be going to Moscow. Won't be going to Russia. Irvin. Rogic. so he can come onto the ball. Taken out by Hasebi. Troisi. Irvin. Troisi. And again Troisi. Hasebi giving that space. Lecky's cross. Oh. Sakai did just enough to get the ball away from Brad Smith.
It was a good touch as well. Brad Smith lurking in behind him.
Smith will this time get to the ball. 3 in the penalty area. Troisi on the edge of the box. For the give and go with Smith. Doesn't come off.
Just overplaying it on occasion. Australia do like to continue to recycle the ball, retain possession. Would like to see them just be a little bit more hungry to pull the trigger and have a shot when they do get the ball. The fringes of that 18-yard box, Japan have done very well to retreat, get numbers behind the ball, keep it very, very compact.
Tomo closed down. 5 minutes played of this second half. When do you start thinking of making any changes if you are Ange Postecoglou?
Well, it really depends on the flow of the game. Australia getting some decent passages of play, some good link-up play. It's just the lack of clear-cut opportunities which you expect around that 15-minute mark, which is pretty much the stock standard in a game of football.
Sano scored the only goal of the game so far. Shoji, that's short. Tomo can't get there. Tracy. Sheeda's calm. Sakai always available, the Marseille fullback. Zako did well. Japan as ever neat and tidy in possession until they're not. Put out by Sakai.
There's the options off the bench. Tommy Juric, Jamie McLaren, Tim Cahill warming up early in this second half.
Trent Sainsbury giving the ball short. Inui. Idaguchi looking wide for Asano. Ryan with the sliding tackle. Start position from Matt Ryan, made that possible. And Sakai. Asano, Sakai carries on his run. He's got Ozaka in the middle. Cleared by Trent Sainsbury.
Sakai demonstrating how dangerous he is. Intercepts the ball, plays it forward. Good ball in. Sainsbury had to retreat back very quickly.
Idaguchi to take what will be Japan's 6th corner. Again, Ozako in the 6-yard box. It's over Shoji. Looks out to Nagatomo. And those short, choppy strides. He's quick enough to overtake Tommy Rogic. Chasing into the channel, Asano. Yamaguchi. Asabi. Yamaguchi for Asano. Inui. He wants a corner.
More threatening play once again down that right-hand side for Japan. Last ditch challenge there from Leckie. Japan starting to look dangerous. Sakai really the catalyst for that. These overlapping runs on that right-hand side.
And Yosuke Ideguchi with the responsibility. Coming through from the back was Sakai. That's the second time he's won 3 headers from corners.
Lots of movements, good set piece once again, good delivery, good pace. Sakai again with his athleticism, just unable to get over it and knot it back into the 6-yard box.
Determined to show us Timmy Cahill, the director of this match, might have an important part to play in this game. Leckie.
Well, he has certainly scored some very important goals late in matches during his international career.
Smith. Cruz ahead of him. Still Brad Smith. Here is Robbie Cruz. Smith carried on his run. Luongo won the ball. It's broken out to Azako. Inui can run. It's 3v3. Inui. Still Inui. Terrific block. Trent Sainsbury.
Australia deep in Japan's half on the attack, giving the ball away. Japan creating a 3v3 situation. It was good sliding challenge there for Australia. But we've seen how dangerous Japan are from corner kicks. Certainly expect another quality delivery into the box.
Nagai, Yoshida, Shoji, all in the penalty area. They go short though. Ideguchi could break anywhere until Jackson Irvine clears as far as Yamaguchi. Hasebe. Milligan hoiks it forward. Nagatomo. Jen Shoji's come in and shown no real problems playing at centre-back, the youngster, alongside the experienced Yoshida, Sakai and Nagatomo. Yoshida out. Luongo. Irvine. Lovely ball from Irvine. Smith's cross. Leckie. Still Leckie. Didn't get enough on it.
Well, Brad Smith getting to the byline, but no support in the middle. Leckie deep on that back post area. There's been a couple of occasions when Australia have been able to get in behind, but it's happened so quickly. Difficulty getting bodies into the box as we see what looks like the first substitution. Tommy Juric speaking to Australia's assistant coach Ante Milicic.
Juric was expected to be in the starting team, as is Aaron Moy. Moy ill overnight, that's why he's not in the team. He's not even on the subs bench, Aaron Moy.
Tommy Juric carrying a slight injury, hasn't trained all week.
But he will bring a goal threat, Juric.
Well, it'll bring a focal point in attack for Australia. He will look to stay relatively central, comfortable getting the ball to his feet with his back towards goal.
Change is going to happen at the magic hour mark. So beloved of all coaches. Not all, just the vast majority. Asabi, little dink forward. Asks Inouye to chase. Milligan back to his keeper. Inouye will close down Matt Ryan. Again, it's given away. You know Postecoglou likes his teams to do that, but what's your verdict on playing out from the back when you've given the ball away 4 or 5 times?
Well, Japan pressing, forcing Matt Ryan into clearing the ball, but he's not hoisting it as far as he can down the pitch. He's trying to find a player in that middle third area.
Nagatomo, lovely touch. It'll go to Australia, but Asano was just trying to get away there from the final defender, Spiranovic. Change is going to be the expected one. James Troisi comes off. Tommy Juric comes on. The Lucerne striker's got 7 international goals to his name. As you say, maybe is more of a focal point.
Troisi put in a solid shift.
What is it with Aussies abroad, huh?
Well, they're certainly enjoying themselves. Not sure about the scoreline, but
oh, that's great strength from Azaka. Holding off Spiranovic. Inouye makes a good run. There is Inouye. And Inouye under pressure from Brad Smith. Smith's done well. Inouye. Sakai bundled over by Spiranovic, who pleads innocence.
Sakai again, danger man. He's got a feeling that he was offside in that earlier phase of play. Again, we've seen Japan with 8 corners to Australia's 1 set piece in a wide area where the delivery has been absolutely exceptional this evening for Japan.
Hiroki Sakai, the 6-foot fullback, might be one target. Zaka again lurking on the edge of the 6-yard box. Hiraguchi to deliver. Nagatomo. Nagatomo on target. Oof. Oh, some good footwork to get away with that. Rogic, Cruz ahead of him. Juric through the middle. Rogic runs out of space. Hiraguchi's doing some good shepherding.
Excellent defending. Rogic, very clever on the ball. Technically very gifted. Big physical presence. Gucci in that one-on-one situation defensively, absolutely perfect.
Lecky loses out. Inouye. Lecky's worked hard to get back in position. Inouye didn't really attack the penalty area. Nagatomo. Hiraguchi. Inouye is onside. 3 in the penalty area. Inouye couldn't keep it alive.
Well, certainly had the right idea. Inouye dangerous in those positions, taking it to the byline, shifting that Australian defence and looking at cutting it back. Just that slightly heavy touch. Sainsbury completely beaten.
Jackson Irvine closed down, smuggles it out to Spiranovic. 64 minutes gone. Australia, other than that deflected shot against the post from Matthew Leckie, haven't really troubled Kawashima in the Japan goal. Rogic feeds Matthew Leckie. Rogic. The Celtic man does have a powerful shot. That would need to be exceptional.
He does. He's scored some very impressive goals from distance for Celtic. It certainly was not one of his better ones. Additional options off the bench, as we've seen Tim Cahill continuing to warm up. Tommy Juric, since his substitution coming on, has not seen the ball. Finding it difficult to get into the game.
There is Juric, sliding it through, looking for Cruz. Leckie, Tommy Juric, thought of the shot. Ishida clears. Japan very deep at the moment, only now pushing out of their 18-yard box. Allowing Australia to have the possession here. And then breaking out quickly. Azaka. He looks left, he had Inui. Asano did the work. Inui's in quickly.
Socceroos is once again on that right-hand side. His vision, his ability to perceive where that passage of play for Australia is going to go.
Leckie looking for Smith. Juric and Rogic in the penalty area. Leckie and Cruz on the edge. Forced backwards, Luongo. Long ball over the top, but they're difficult to control. Those long balls from Jackson Irvine.
Well, those straight balls, difficult to find the correct weighting of the pass and rolling out to play. It was good defending by Yoshida, just to block the run of Robbie Cruz, allow the ball to run out of play.
That wasn't a contented look from Haliotic.
Well, they're looking comfortable, Japan, though. Australia again seem to be having largely more possession, but real threatening goal-scoring opportunities. Saying that, it's pretty much exactly the same for Japan before they scored that elusive goal at the end of that first half.
Good decision by the referee. There was a foul there by Jackson Irvine. He tried to play an advantage. Hidiguchi taken out late by Irvine. Spiranovic. Still plenty of time on the clock for Australia to fashion an equaliser, but we do begin to start looking at the clock as soon as the 70-minute mark is hit. And Tim Cahill may well be the man of the moment. 48 international goals for Cahill. Leckie. Rogic into Leckie. Cruz just couldn't get there. It's gone out for a corner.
Combination play. Juric drifting into that wide right area, linking up with Matthew Leckie for the cutback to Cruz. Good defending again by Yoshida.
Cahill kicking his heels just at the moment. Postecoglou kicking the ball, waiting for this corner to be taken.
We'd almost want to get him on, and that's a correct decision. Tim Cahill, his key competencies is his ability attacking areas in the air.
Plays at Melbourne City, 100 international caps, 48 international goals. Australia calling on the talismanic Cahill once again. We've had several hours of need in his career. This is another one. Luongo, Cruz, Leckie, Cruz, Luongo, Sabi in the way. Luongo couldn't get there, Cahill causing problems. Belted clear. Optimistic appeals for a hand. And then no free kick. This is Cruz. Might still break to Cahill. Couldn't get there. Yoshida did well. And the ball's in the back of the net, but there was a foul in the build-up. Cruz working hard. Honda looks on, concerned. Haliadzic has another heart palpitation.
Well, Japan excellent in that scrambling defence. Cruz getting in behind. It's a good cutback. Just behind Juric. Sarko going down. That is just a couple of yards closer towards the goal. Tommy Juric has got it straight into his path. Cruz needs to make that pass. Needs to make it stick. It's good build-up play. When you're being starved of opportunities and starved of goal-scoring chances like that in that area, Cruz must find Juric.
Inui missed the ball through to Asano. Zaka was taken out of the play. Unceremoniously by Matthew Spiranovic. There's a lot of stake in these last 20 minutes. A huge amount of place at the World Cup finals, no less. Sainsbury looks for and finds Leckie. Cahill. It's a foul by Mark Milligan on Takashi Inui.
The man that looks to come on for Japan, very good option. Obviously tucking in defensively, but will let loose in those wide areas when in possession.
Courtesy Asano's 38th minute goal. Cahill bundles his way through. Cahill again. Leckie. Luongo. Cruz. Jackson Irvine. Norwich came short. He wants to stop that going out for a corner, does, and picks up a foul as well.
He uses his body so well there, Inui. Does really well just to muscle Bobby Cruz off the ball. Cruz with a very sloppy foul. Releases all the pressure that Australia were applying to Japan deep in their own half.
So Japan affecting a change. 15-16 minutes on the clock. As you say, Haraguchi is a very useful man to come into this position. Takashi Inui, the man who's replacing him, or being replaced by him.
Well, Haraguchi will provide a quality outlet when aiming to break forward and when aiming to get play down the other end. He'll certainly put in a defensive shift as well.
Plays for Hertha Berlin. Scored 6 international goals, including, of course, the one in the first match between these nations. Finished 1-1. They're the two men who've been brought on, Cahill and Juric up front. Cruz now a provider alongside those two. Of course, there's always the danger going down the other end. Haraguchi on Asano's pace might get a second for Japan. Here's Asebi. Sakai. Hiraguchi. Asebi's header. Yoshida. Helped out by Sakai. And by Yamaguchi. Too many times when Matt Ryan's distributions found a gold shirt. Yoshida's clearance for Japan. Hiraguchi, cleverly played. Yamaguchi on the charge. Asano at the far post. It breaks to Hiraguchi. What a save on the line.
Penetrating counter-attack for Japan. Desperation. Defending by Trent Sainsbury. Did very well just to get him behind Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan definitely beaten.
Nagatomo toe pokes it out. Hiraguchi looks to the heavens because this is 2-0.
Well, he struck it very, very well. Sainsbury just throwing himself.
Been playing much football for Jiangsu, doesn't seem to matter. Been solid.
They'll play 1 minute.
Lecky.
You see very clearly that compact nature of Japan's defence.
Cahill stumbles his way through and still gets the pass away. Juric, Cruz, Lecky, looking for Cahill.
Well, Cahill, obviously, with that aerial threat now in the box. It's the first time Australia has looked to try and get an early cross from a deeper area. A little bit predictable, Australia went in possession, looking at trying to play their way into that 18-yard box with Cahill. And also the aerial threat of Tommy Juric as well. They do have a different option there. They need to be a little bit less predictable when entering that attacking third.
"12 minutes for Japan to hold on or to add to that lead and book their tickets to Russia 2018. With the trip to Saudi still to come, that would be a huge relief for Japan. Lecky, bundled out of play by Haraguchi. Haraguchi picks up the second ball. It's an Australia throw. There's the pressure by Halilhodžić is on. All of this over a throw-in.
Well, it's absolutely ridiculous. Japan are the team with a one-goal lead. They are the team that needs to maintain their composure. The pressure, as you mentioned, clearly demonstrated by the Japanese bench. Just got to hold on for 10 more minutes and they're through to the World Cup. It's certainly not helping their cause.
Ignoring the entreaties from his backroom staff. Handling one of his own backroom staff, Halilhodžić. It's all a deflection though. Australia running short of time. They need an equaliser. Smith. 60% possession to the Socceroos. Irvin. Lecky. If it does remain like this, Saudi would have a one-goal better goal difference, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Yoshida clears Lecky's shot. Saudi have a better goal difference and have scored more goals as well. Asano, who scored the only goal here, running at Spiranovic. Sainsbury only gives it to Osaka. Chance.
Well, Sainsbury at the poor clearance. Osaka. Very good opportunity. You see it break forward. Falls very nicely for him on the edge of that 18-yard box. Had to hurry his shot. It's being closed down quickly by Sainsbury.
If it does go down to head-to-head between Australia and Saudi Arabia, Australia just have the advantage. 2-all drawn, a 3-2 there, but they don't want it to go that deep. Ideguchi. Still Ideguchi. Ideguchi! What a goal!
Well, the joy very clear to see. Ideguchi with an absolute wonder strike. The ball given away in midfield by Australia, and again on the counter-attack. Ideguchi just does very well. Just to drift inside and punish it into the back of the net. Matt Ryan anticipated, he read the right way, but the pure power of that strike gave him absolute no chance. And the stadium has erupted.
A first international goal for Yosuke Ideguchi. The Gamba Osaka midfielder, 21 years of age, has propelled Japan much closer to Moscow 2018. It will go down to the final day for Australia. Juric, unless there's something dramatic. Juric. Well, the throw-in is going to go which way? Has he changed it again? What a prospect this kid is. And Asabi brought back into the team for this big match. Experience telling. Spiranovic forced backwards. Sainsbury. Mulligan. Japan 2, Australia 0. The clock is ticking. Matthew Leckie can't keep it alive.
Here's that strike from Minaguchi under pressure. Jackson Irvine remaining very close, but able to create that space for himself and then have the composure, competency to deliver a strike like that.
Minutes to play. I can tell you elsewhere, Thailand and Iraq have kicked off, no goals in Bangkok. In the other group, China 0, Uzbekistan 0, Korea 0, Iran 0. And Syria have taken the lead against Qatar. A match in Paroi. Sorry, Hanjevat in Malacca. Cross comes in. Smith at the back post. Sakai does well, corner.
Sakai does very well. Ball into the box from Juric. Brad Smith at that back post, a slightly heavy touch. Sakai, excellent, perfectly timed challenge.
And the change, the final change for Australia. Mustafa Amini is on for this corner. Kawashima deals with it. Who plays his football in Denmark for Aarhus. And for Jackson Irvine. It's desperate measures for Australia at the moment, PJ Roberts.
Well, desperation stages, definitely. They need to get the ball quite simply into the box as quickly as possible. Hope to pick up that second phase of play, that second ball to decent strike on target. Japan riding out this game very well.
Okazaki coming on for Ozako, who gets a well-merited ovation. Not a bad man to have coming on for the last 4 minutes. Saitama is pumping. Spiranovic. Smith. 14-4 the shots. Deserved lead for Japan.
It's all about getting the ball in the back of the net. Delivered quality, and they've had the opportunity.
Asano blocked off. Okazaki chases. First involvement for Amini and for Okazaki.
The level of intensity that Japan have displayed this final 10 minutes, very impressive. Continuing to close Australia down quickly, wanting to win the ball back early, allowing Australia any time on the ball to try and create any goal-scoring opportunities. Look at that first goal for Japan. Lovely ball in from Nagatomo. Sano with the lovely deft little finish.
As he's replaced. Excellent day's work. The two youngsters have done it for Japan. We asked the question whether or not Honda and Kagawa being left out was a gamble. There is a definitive answer.
It's frightening when you do look at the quality depth in this squad.
Yuya Kubo comes on, another youngster, 23. This is football in Ghent. Graduated from the Japan. He's been with the Japan national team since under-16 level. Kubo. There is a definite plan for Japan and their players coming through the ranks.
There's that defending and pressure once again. Winning the ball back early.
The front three now being changed. It's now Kubo, Okazaki and Haraguchi.
two substitutions for Australia, Juric and Cahill. They haven't been able to utilise them to the best of their abilities. Japan have closed them down very well. Yoshida have been very, very solid in central defence. Nagatamo and Sakai, left and right fullback, provide plenty of quality options going forward. They're also incredibly efficient with their defensive duties as well. And Asibi, the man in the picture, has really run the show in that central midfield area.
The goal-scoring hero, Inaguchi, gets some rough treatment from Amini. Lecky, Amini, caught up. Australia get on with it quickly. Smith against Sakai. It breaks Lecky. 3 minutes to add on. Australia need 2 in 3 minutes. Amini coming to a frantic pace, and he's a little bit off the pace. Here's Haraguchi. Amini does better there. Wins the ball back. Luongo. Cruz again had made a terrific run off the ball. Luongo. Hiraguchi. Kubo running at Spiranovic. Still Kubo. Second chance for him. And Sakai will appear in the picture imminently. Oh, not this time. Kubo. Across the face of the goal. Cahill back defending. For Australia, it's now all down to a match in Melbourne on the 5th of September, Tuesday. Thailand await Saudi versus Japan in Jeddah, just a little bit later that same night. Nagatomo clears. There is Asano, the man whose first half goal opened the way.
Well, it has been a very courageous team performance for Japan. Coming into this game under immense pressure. Controlled the game when they've needed to. A real ruthless edge to their attack. Certainly not a polished performance by any means, but efficient enough.
Lecky. Any goal now would surely just be a consolation. Idaguchi darts it forward. There may be recriminations back home in Australia. Or is it all just now looking ahead to that final showdown with Thailand? Final whistle goes. Japan are in Russia 2018. Asano in the first half and a cracker from Idaguchi in the second means that they have won this must-win match against Australia by 2 goals to 0.
And joyous scenes, wonderful scenes. Saitama Stadium, where they maintain this incredible record of only losing 1 game in 24 games. Heartbreak for Ange Postecoglou and Australia. We can only focus on that next game against Thailand on Tuesday in Melbourne, where it is an absolute must-win, and a must-win by a few goals. Obviously overhaul at Saudi Arabia.
Final score from the Saitama. Delight for Japan. Japan 2, Australia 0.
In a world full of Uniteds and cities, there's only one Hotspur. Welcome to Spurs TV. Experience English football the Tottenham way. Bringing you all of their Premier League match days, interviews and club news. Sunday 1 p.m. and Monday 5 p.m. on Fox Sports.
Rocky Marciano is the only world heavyweight champion who never